It's been a long week, and all you want to do is sit down and spend your hard-earned weekend time playing Path of Exile, and there's this new build by your favorite content creator that you're just dying to play. It seems pretty overpowered. However, the thought of leveling a new character through the campaign once again is absolutely the most boring thing that you could possibly imagine doing right now. It's going to take the entire weekend of your time to even be able to get through the campaign and get to maps, which is the part that you actually enjoy. And honestly, it might just be time to log into that other character that you league started with that you're getting kind of tired of, but at least farming maps is more fun than doing the campaign again. However, what if I told you that there was a way to substantially decrease the amount of time that it takes you to get through the campaign, and it doesn't require any specific gear, any currency, no kinds of crazy talent or skills. You don't have to be Tai Killer to be able to do this. And all of it can be learned in about 5 to 10 minutes. Hey guys, Big Ducks here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've been here for a while, you already know what I'm gonna say. Like this video if you want to see more content similar to this, and about 75% of you have something that you need to do right now. And that is that you need to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that these videos will show right up in your feed, and you don't miss out on any of the latest content. Now, without further ado, let's get into the guide. Alright, so you want to be able to level fast, and you don't want it to take very much time, and you might not be the most experienced at speedrunning or anything else like that, but you still want to be able to get through the acts in a day, right? Well, there's a couple things that you need to know about, and keep in mind, this is going to be a guide specifically for softcore players. I know that that is the vast majority of you, but if you're a hardcore player, you can use some of the things in here, but there's going to be one tip that I give you later on that's probably not going to work for you, so keep that in mind. Now, this first point most people actually get wrong. They think the purpose of getting through the campaign fast is just leveling up fast, right? Well, that's not actually correct. The purpose of getting through the campaign is exactly that. You need to get through the campaign. And lo and behold, a lot of people don't realize that the vast majority of the time that you spend playing Path of Exile through the campaign doesn't actually have anything to do with killing monsters. It has to do with one thing, and that is moving. So this is the biggest piece of advice that I give anyone, because this is the question that I get more than any other question while I'm doing like leveling streams over at twitch.tv/bigducks, which you should follow, by the way, is that how do you get through the campaign so quickly? It doesn't look like you're doing anything special. It doesn't look like, you know, you're some god gamer who's doing crazy strategies and animation canceling flame dash smoke mine jumps and anything like that. How do you get through it in just a single day? Well, the answer is simple. You just gotta get out of town, and you gotta keep moving, and you have to stop killing so many enemies. So when it comes to movement, there are two parts to this that I think they're important. The first part is going to be actually moving and movement speed itself. Now, if you are someone who is not league starting, has a bit of currency, or you're just someone with more money than you know what to do with, but you just hate the idea of leveling, you can always do something like buy a set of 7 league steps. This will give you 50% increased movement speed to use it all the way through the campaign, will massively increase the speed at which you level and get through it. However, if you don't have money, something like Wanderlust is perfectly fine for a non-league starter. Now, if you are doing a league start situation and it's something where you don't have access to those kinds of uniques, there is a recipe that will actually help you out with this. So if you go to any vendor and you just purchase a simple set of white boots, you take these white boots and you sell them with an orb of augmentation and a quicksilver flask, you will get % blue movement speed boots. Now you might be thinking, Big Ducks 10% is nothing. I need like 30% movement speed boots to even be able to manage. Well, if you do happen to find any quicksilver flasks, because you do get access to a few of them over the course of the game, you can actually sell these 10% movement boots with another quicksilver flask as well as an orb of augmentation and get 5% upgraded movement speed boots, and this goes all the way up to whatever the item is capable of using. The level requirement will go up with this, but you can go up quite a bit. This is last ditch effort. You should be able to find just some random blue or yellow boots on the ground that have movement speed on them. Prioritize that movement speed over everything else. There's one other thing. You don't need anything special to be able to do this, but there is an ability called Smoke Mine. This ability is easily one of the best movement skills in the game for leveling. Now, why is this? I'll show you right now. So Smoke Mine has something different about it than all the other movement skills have, is that when you use Smoke Mine, you get a secondary buff, and that buff gives you movement speed. Now, if we look at the actual gem itself, you'll see that you get a 25% increased movement speed bonus here with this high-leveled Smoke Mine. The idea is that if you put Detonate on your left click, and you are just running around and you toss down a Smoke Mine, you will instantly jump to it. You don't have to click any buttons, you don't have to do anything. It is just an instant movement skill, just like anything else. So if you've had issues with using smoke mine in the past because it's like you have to click the detonate and everything, just put detonate on your left click and you don't have to worry about it anymore. These two things combined, you can see how quickly my character moves. When I have all my flasks up and I have all my buffs up, we're zooming through this zone, and this can be you the entire time. Now, there is one other problem that a lot of people have when it's not about movement speed. Movement speed is nice, you need to make sure that you're moving through the axis as quickly as you can, but the other thing that you need to not be doing is you need to not be killing absolutely everything in the entire zone. And this one is imperative because a lot of people do this. You should be having a goal set in your head to be roughly 2 to 3 levels below the zone at any given time. Now, I know this might seem counterintuitive because you're like, well, I die all the time while leveling up, and if I'm higher level, I'll be able to kill the monsters faster, and that means that I'll level faster, right? No, not exactly. That isn't the way the Path of Exile works. The sweet spot of experience is a few levels below the zone. If you are at level or above level of the zone, you're actually going to be leveling slower due to experience penalties. So the goal is that typically when you make it through the campaign, you should be probably at around level like 64 or 65 by the time that you're finishing the campaign and killing Act 10 Kitava. So to do that, we have to make a few concessions. There's 2 things that is going to require as we level up, and these will be things that will cause you to level significantly faster in the future. Now, the first thing is going to be skill point quests. Now, there are a lot of skill point quests. If you look at the set of quests, there are a whole bunch. I haven't even done them yet on this character, and you'll see that I do skip quite a few of these quests, right? You'll see that I do skip a decent amount of them. I don't skip all of them, but if you use this cool command that we've got where you do /passives in the chat, it will give you a list of every quest that you have done and not done for passive points. You can go through here, figure out which quests you need to do, and catch up later, because what I suggest that you do is that any skill point quest that causes you to significantly go out of your way to do it early on should be skipped. Now, why do I say that? Because once you're at a higher level, you will be able to zoom through that quest no problem whatsoever. You won't have to spend any time killing enemies. You'll probably move faster because you'll have better boots, better skills, better flasks, better everything. I suggest that you skip most skill point quests, okay? If it's a quest that's hard to come back to, then maybe you can go ahead and do it right then and there, but there are very few quests that I do outside of the ones that are in the zones you already have to go to. So for example, if we look at this passive list, you'll notice that I did deal with the bandits because that's part of the actual skill points. I did Piety's Pets, which is something that you have to do, absolutely. An Indomitable Spirit is something that I did anyways because I managed to find her while I was going through. There's things like this that will cause you to just waste almost no time while leveling up because it's right in the same zone you're going to anyways. But then there are quests like this one, say, the Dweller of the Deep and the Marooned Mariner, where you have to go to side zones to be able to do them. Just straight skip those while you're leveling. It doesn't matter. Go back and do them later. You can do them right away if you want to, but I personally feel that for me, it ends up being easier and faster to just go ahead, skip them, focus on leveling, focus on moving forward, and focusing on not getting too caught up doing extra stuff, right? Now, the next thing is going to be, well, at a certain point, you get way too far behind, right? And this is the one time that I tend to spend a little bit of time leveling up, and that is going to be in the Blood Aqueducts. Now, this is going to be in Act 9, and it is a very, very easy place to just get some simple leveling done. So when you hit Act 9, initially you're going to get to the Blood Aqueducts. The reason why I suggest that you level up here and catch up to the zone is because most likely if you're zooming through the campaign, you're probably going to be significantly behind at this point. So when you get to the Blood Aqueducts, the cool thing about the Blood Aqueducts is that this is a very straightforward zone. It's a very small zone that has a lot of enemies in it. The density is going to be very high because there's not any areas over to the side that you can accidentally skip, right? You've got these little tiny zones like this, and they maybe have like a pack or two of monsters. Just completely skip those. It doesn't matter. You're just moving forward, killing things in front of you, and not worrying about it one bit, right? Run through, kill all the enemies in here, and then once you get to the end, I suggest that you go into Highgate, you walk all the way around to the waypoint. I know it seems like this is wasting time because you could just open up a new instance right there, but you go to the waypoint, you go to this waypoint here at the Blood Aqueducts, and you open up a new instance from here. Now, why do you do that? Because it is significantly easier to use movement skills up and to the left than it is to use them down and to the right. Because up and to the left, you have nothing really blocking your character from throwing your movement skills as far as possible and clicking and moving up this way. You can see where you're going and what's happening. Whereas down here, you're limited more because you have all of this stuff in your way. You can't really see the enemies that you're killing. There's this, I wish that we could turn off the interface, but it is significantly easier to move up and left than it is to move down and right. So I suggest you take the extra 2 or 3 seconds and you grind here until you're about level 60 or 61-ish. and then you will not have to stop for the rest of the campaign. You can move all the way through the rest of the campaign, no stops whatsoever, get through Act 10, kill Kitaba, and be done. There are a few other little points that I want to talk about. I suggest that you go and grab a build guide of whatever build that you're going to play. If you're making your own character, this is inherently going to make you play slower because you don't know what points you're going to be putting in on the tree. You don't know where they're going to go. You don't know what to put in. If you have a build guide, like such as one of mine, where it tells you what points to put in as you level up, just have that up on another screen or be able to tab out to it so that you can very, very quickly put your points in and not have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. When it comes to actual gear while leveling, there's tons of information out there on how to level faster and how to put in proper gear. I talk about that in most of my build guide videos, so if you're following one of my build guides, I'll tell you what to look out for. You should be finding rares. You should be trying to get life on them. You should be trying to craft elemental resistances on it with the crafting bench here. You get these resistances for free while going through the campaign. You also do get resist upgrades from just doing the labs because they're in those little rooms right before Azaro. Just focus on keeping that gear upgraded. If you are later on in the league, invest in a set of leveling gear. It will make your life so much easier. Get a tabula, get some praxis rings, get a set of Loctonial caresses, 7 league steps if you can afford them. If not, just grab Wanderlust, a gold rim, and some random jewelry and stuff for builds like that, right? You could do something like roll a +2 level of all lightning skill gems staff, which will help you through the entirety of the game and still work in maps. These staffs are super easy to roll. This is literally an eye level 4 staff that I roll with alteration orbs. You could probably buy this off of the trade website for basically no money whatsoever instead of rolling yourself like I did and wasting a whole bunch of time. If you're further into the league, there's no reason to league start twice, right? Spend some, like all of this gear that's in my inventory right now is maybe 15 chaos at most, right? Get some decent ones. Well, besides this is a specific item for this build, but you could very easily get like a crew reward or something else that will make you run faster, right? Spend a little bit of money on a set of leveling gear. It'll make you level significantly faster. The thing I want to talk about is doing the labs. If you are league starting, I suggest that you do the labs as you find them, because most of the time, I'm not going to say all of the time, and this ties back into the build guide, most of the time, the points that you get for your ascendancy are very important for the strength of your character. Right now, the character that we're playing is a Crackling Lance Golementalist, and golems are insanely overpowered right now for leveling specifically, simply because with this Liege of the Primordial buff, you get your golems to just resummon, you get a bunch of damage, bunch of effectiveness, bunch of everything, right? So having all these golems up and having them just respawn constantly makes it significantly easier to level. If you're playing an Ascendancy that has a very powerful ability as its first Ascendancy point, you should do your Ascendancy immediately. I suggest that you do it right away as soon as you possibly can when you're within a couple levels of the zone, because it's going to increase the speed with which you can move. Once again, that all ties back into my build guides and things like that. And this is the piece of advice that I don't recommend for hardcore players. Stop worrying about dying. It doesn't matter if you die while you're leveling up. For some reason, people have this idea in their head that it's not okay to just death rush bosses over and over again, but you can absolutely throw your corpse at the boss as many times as you like while leveling up and it will do almost no damage to your experience bar. Before first Kitaba, I don't think you lose any experience when you die. After first Kitaba, you lose a very, very minimal 80 bit of experience. And the only time it really matters dying experience-wise is in like the 80s, like level 80 and above. Before that, it really doesn't matter. So you don't need to spend so much time in the axe trying to improve your gear. Pick up yellows. If it's got some life on it, toss it on. If it has the correct links on it, that's even more important. Forget the life, who cares? Craft life and resistances on your gear later. And another thing, and this is a huge thing that people don't seem to understand, is that the league mechanics, like we're in Ritual right now, skip the league mechanics. If your character is progressing perfectly fine through the campaign, who cares about the league mechanic? It's going to drop you random leveling gear that you honestly don't really need. If your character is significantly weaker than what you think it should be, and you're having issues where you're just dying instantly to any mob in the zone, then you should probably take some time, go back, do the league mechanic, get a couple little upgrades here and there. But if you're following one of my build guides, you really shouldn't run into that issue too much. But just, you need to stop spending so much time in the actual zones. The zones themselves are complete bait. The thing that you need to worry about is moving through the campaign and stop spending so much time doing things that don't matter. Movement through the campaign, walking faster, moving faster, and killing some enemies while you go is by far the best way that you can get through the campaign significantly faster. And that is going to be it for the video. So, a TLDR for those people who didn't understand what I said: move faster through the campaign, stop killing so many enemies, stop spending so much time in town, and stop doing all of the league mechanics if you don't need to do those things. skip a whole bunch of the skill point quests, and just keep moving. Most of the time that you spend actually leveling is going to be walking. So you need to make sure that you're walking at all times. Know where you're going, know which ways to go, plan out your route, and get it done. Remember guys, if you enjoy my content, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content similar to this, and stay safe out there in raid class. And I'll see you guys in the next video.